gonna stab me?
I'm going to defend myself.
Defend yourself from what?
I'm going to defend myself.
You acting violent? There you go. See? No, you chill out. Chill out. Chill out. Chill out. Chill out.
You know what?
Chill out. Why'd you try to help me with?
You know what? You know what?
She had just come home from a work trip. She walked through her own front door, the door to her own house in the neighborhood she had lived in for years, and was dead before the night ended. The man who called police shortly before midnight did not call to report a crime. He called to confess one. He told the dispatcher he had just killed his fiancée. She had 6 gunshot wounds, at least one of them was in her back. Her daughter was in the house. She heard everything. And when she tried to reach her mother, the man who pulled the trigger blocked the door and locked her outside. But how did we get here? You're watching Guilty Crime Files, where real cases of people just like you reveal the warning signs you can't afford to ignore. Like, subscribe, and share, because awareness could save a life. If you're returning to this channel, welcome back. If this is your first time, stay close. This one matters.
I can't never call my mom again and tell her I love her. I can't never call and tell her about my day, about how my daughter is doing, how she's growing up. I can't do that no more. He can do that. He can still call his mom. He can still call and check on her. They can all call and check and see how he's doing in jail. We can't get my mom back, ever. My daughter has to grow up without a grandma. She won't see her start kindergarten. She won't see her turn 5, grow up, be a teenager. She won't see any of that. I must be 30 years old, but I won't even be here to see that milestone. She won't be able to see my brother graduate college or anything like that. I can't believe she's not here no more.
Before we begin, 4 facts. Each one stands alone. Each one is worse than the last. Amanda Williams was 46 years old. She was a licensed hairstylist, a salon owner, a mother of 2, and a grandmother. On her Facebook page, she described herself as someone who displayed positive energy and always looked for ways to grow. The day before she was killed, she was in Columbus for work. The man who shot her, her fiancé, called the police himself. He did not render aid. He did not call for an ambulance. He did not allow her daughter to enter the room to help her. He placed the call, stated what he had done, and waited. He had recorded 3 videos on his cell phone in the minutes before the shooting. Those videos would become central evidence at trial. In one of them, Amanda Williams can be heard saying 4 words that prosecutors argued dismantled his entire defense. "I'm going to defend myself."
You gonna stab me?
I'm going to defend myself.
Defend yourself from
I'm
what?
going to defend myself.
You acting violent? There you go. See? No, you chill out. Chill out. Chill out. Chill out. Chill out.
You know what?
Chill out. Why'd you try to help me with?
You know what? You know what?
Earlier that same day, before she came home, before the argument, before the shooting, he had already moved his firearms from the bedroom to his car. Investigators would later ask, if he was afraid of her, why did he go back inside? In the Cleveland area, Amanda Williams was known. She went by Amanda the Stylist. Stylized, professional, intentional. Her Facebook page, which she kept active and public, showed a woman who understood her own brand. She posted about her clients, her salon, a la mode styleuse, her team, and her philosophy. Having a good foundation and the perfect team is important to me. I display positive energy and attitude, always looking for ways to grow. I encourage my girls at the salon to always think bigger. That post was made 22 days before she was killed. She had a daughter named Tyler, 29, who lived with her and had a young daughter of her own, Amanda's granddaughter. And she had a son named Tristan Bentley, 21, who was enrolled at the United States Air Force Academy. My sunshine is a C2C now. Almost to the finish line. She had posted that photo of Tristan in his flight suit, beaming with a pride only a mother knows. The post got 150 likes. The comments were warm. Nobody in those comments knew that 6 weeks later, Tristan would be writing a victim impact statement instead of studying for his next examination at the academy. Pastor R.A. Vernon, who knew Amanda personally, described her this way at the time of her death. There's some people, and I've been doing this a long time, that when they walk in the room, they light up the room. That was her, and she'll be sorely missed. She had also posted something earlier that year, in May 2023, that had nothing to do with her salon and everything to do with where she was in her life. I am Amanda Thestalist. I'm guilty of giving people more chances than they deserve, but when I'm done, I'm done. At the time, it seemed like the kind of thing anyone might share. A relatable quote, a mood. In hindsight, it reads differently. Tirrell Edwards was 41 years old in October 2023. By his own account on the witness stand, his relationship with Amanda Williams had been, his word, pretty good. They had met in 2017. He moved into her home in 2019. In 2022, he proposed. They were planning a wedding. They had enrolled in premarital counseling, and Edwards testified, had just finished the program. From the outside, the picture appeared to fit together. A couple moving towards something, a future in progress. But there were cracks. On the day Amanda was killed, October 9, 2023, the argument that would end her life began not with a dramatic confrontation, but with a text message she hadn't answered. Edwards told investigators during his police interrogation that they had been fighting all day. The issue, she had not responded to a text he sent. And she had suspended his cell phone service. That was the trigger. What investigators would later find significant was not just the argument. It was the sequence of what Edwards did before Amanda even came home. At some point that day, he went to the bedroom where the couple kept their firearms, collected them, and moved them to his vehicle outside. Then, despite taking the guns out of the room, he went back inside the house. Prosecutors would press on this point at trial. If he was afraid of her, if he genuinely believed she was dangerous, why did he return? He had a car, he had his belongings, he had a window to leave. He went back in.
This defendant shot her 6 times in her own bedroom. He did not need to. In his own testimony, he admitted that when she was looking down, hitting his phone, her attention was to the phone, not to him. He also said, at that time, she did not pose a threat to me. He also said, and you saw the still frame that was on the screen when I was asking him those questions, he was on her side of the bed with the gun in his hand. You couldn't see it, but he said, yep, that gun is in my hand. And never once on that video did he say, I've got your gun, please stop. And he did not try to defuse that situation.
When Amanda Williams came home from Columbus on the night of October 9th, 2023, her daughter Tyler was already there. Tyler, 29, lived in the home with her own young daughter. That night, she was in her bedroom when she heard her mother and Edwards arguing. The argument was audible from downstairs. It was coming from the master bedroom. At trial, Tyler Williams described what she heard and what she tried to do. I get out of my bed to make my way up the stairs, and then I hear the shots go off. She also testified that during the argument, she heard her mother tell Edwards to leave the house. More than once, that detail would weigh heavily on the jury. Meanwhile, inside the bedroom, Edwards had begun recording video on his cell phone. He would record 3 videos that night. In the first, you can hear him ask Amanda, "You gonna stab me?" She responds, and this is the moment prosecutors would play for the jury. She responds, "I'm gonna defend myself." In that same first video, Amanda is visible briefly holding what appears to be a knife. Then she puts it down on a ledge in the hallway. She put it down. At some point during the argument, Edwards testified that Amanda went downstairs and made a phone call. He said it sounded like she was calling the police. She wasn't. The number she dialed was 9221, not 911. According to Edwards' own testimony, that's when he decided it was time to pack his things and leave. But then, by his account, Amanda came back upstairs with the knife. He pulled out his phone and began recording again. The second video. In the third and final video, what investigators describe as a critical sequence of events unfolds. The camera is moving. The audio is chaotic. At one point, what sounds like the phone being struck, Edwards told police Amanda stabbed his phone screen with the knife, and then within seconds of that sound, 6 gunshots. When prosecutors played this third video during cross-examination of Edwards, they pointed out where the camera shows him standing. He was on the side of the room, near the headboard, where Amanda kept the gun underneath the mattress. That's the gun he used. He had taken his own guns to the car earlier, but he knew where hers was. No one there that night, not Tyler downstairs, not the neighbors, realized what those 6 sounds meant until it was too late.
He was on her side of the bed with the gun in his hand. You couldn't see it, but he said, yep, that gun is in my hand. And never once on that video did he say, I've got your gun, please stop. He did not try to defuse that situation. He had an opportunity and he killed the
The Warrensville Heights Police Department received the call at approximately 11:40 p.m. on October 10, 2023. The caller was Tirrell Edwards. He said he had just killed his fiancée. Officers arrived at the residence in the 19700 block of Sunset Drive. They found Amanda Williams with multiple gunshot wounds. She was transported to a nearby hospital. She was pronounced dead. The medical examiner's findings would become one of the most contested elements of the trial. Amanda had been shot 6 times. At least one of those shots was in the back. Edwards' defense had claimed she was charging at him with a knife when he fired. The prosecution asked a precise question in response to that claim. If she was coming at him, lunging forward, how was she shot in the back? In cruiser camera footage captured after Edwards was placed in a police vehicle that night, he can be heard speaking unprompted to an officer. He said Amanda was fighting him. And then he said this, "I just threw my life away." Tyler Williams, Amanda's daughter, heard the shots from downstairs. She moved toward the bedroom. She was blocked. Edwards would not let her in. She testified that she kept trying to get past him to reach her mother. He physically prevented her from entering. When she went outside to see if EMS had arrived, he locked the door behind her, locking her out of her own home, away from her mother. I was not able to help my mom, hold her, nothing, because he wouldn't let me. At trial, when prosecutors pressed Edwards on why he had blocked Tyler from entering the room, he became emotional. He offered this explanation. "She kept on trying to get over there. I didn't want her to see her mom like that." The jury heard both of those statements. They had to weigh them against each other. Edwards also testified that he did not render any aid to Amanda after the shooting. He said he thought she was already dead. He said he didn't know how to provide first aid. He had called police within about a minute of the shooting, his attorneys noted. He had not called an ambulance. The indictment came on November 1, 2023. A Cuyahoga County grand jury charged Tirrell Edwards with 1 count of aggravated murder, 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of felonious assault, and 1 count of domestic violence. Prosecutors announced the charges publicly. Edwards had not yet been taken into custody. Warrensville Heights police were looking for him. They had been unable to locate him. The Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office issued a direct public statement urging Edwards to surrender. He turned himself in the following morning, November 2nd. The investigation had centered on 3 categories of evidence. First, the cell phone videos Edwards recorded himself. He had 3 of them. The prosecution would argue those videos told a story that contradicted his self-defense claim at virtually every critical moment. Second, the interrogation footage. Warrensville Heights Lieutenant Paris Johnson, the lead investigator, sat across from Edwards in that room. Prosecutors spent significant time at trial playing that footage and dissecting what Edwards said and what he did not say, and the order in which he said it. Third, the physical evidence. The medical examiner took the stand on day 2 of trial. The gunshot wounds, their number, their location, their trajectory, all formed the backbone of the state's case against the self-defense narrative. The trial began on February 27, 2024, in Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Court. It lasted 4 days. On the 4th day, Tirrell Edwards took the stand in his own defense. He described his 6-year relationship with Amanda. He said they were planning their wedding. He said the relationship was pretty good. He said that on the night of October 9th, she lunged at him with a knife. He said he was terrified. He fired. "I just shot rapidly. I was scared. She had me so scared with that knife." He also said, "I'm trying to run to get away. That's when she cut me off and she lunged at me with the knife. I had no other choice."
I just shot rapidly. I was scared. She had me so scared with that knife.
Edwards says he and Amanda had a pretty good relationship before October 9th last year. That's when an argument over phone texts boiled over.
And she's coming out of my closet with a whole bunch of clothes and she's throwing them all over the floor, telling me to get out.
Edwards says he intended to leave, but Amanda grabbed a kitchen knife and held him in their room. Prosecutors didn't buy it.
You just said you were de-escalating by telling her to chill out. Why didn't you de-escalate further by saying, "I've got your gun, please stop"?
Like I said, I didn't want to shoot her.
Edwards says he got a hold of Amanda's gun as he was trying to get away from her and testified he had only two choices: get stabbed or shoot.
I'm trying to run to get away, and that's when she cut me off and she lunged at me with the knife. I had no other choice.
She never knew you had her gun, did she?
I don't believe so, no.
Edwards shot Amanda 6 times and then called 911. Amanda's daughter, Tyler, heard and ran upstairs.
Why not let Tyler go to her mother and try to help her?
Didn't want Tyler to be traumatized.
Really?
I didn't. She kept trying to get over there. I didn't want her to see her mom like that.
So it was for you to decide.
The prosecution's response was surgical. They played the third video again. They showed the jury where Edwards was standing, next to the mattress where Amanda's gun was stored. They noted that in the video showing Amanda with the knife, she had put it down before approaching him. They pointed to the gunshot in the back. They asked about the other firearms he'd already moved to his car. They asked why he went back inside. Prosecutor Michael O'Malley had framed the case simply in his post-verdict statement. The state of Ohio believes that Amanda Williams' death was an intentional homicide without justification, and the evidence we presented has conclusively proven that. The jury deliberated. On March 4, 2024, they returned their verdict. Guilty, 2 counts of murder. Guilty, 2 counts of felonious assault. Guilty, 1 count of domestic violence. Not guilty, aggravated murder. On March 11, 2024, Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Judge Stephen Gall sentenced Tirrell Edwards to life in prison, with the possibility of parole after 24 years. Edwards did not speak when given the opportunity to address the court. The Williams family did. Amanda's daughter Tyler spoke directly about what that night took from her. Not just her mother, but the ability to be with her in her final moments. "I just can't stomach the fact that I have to live the rest of my life without my mom. My daughter has to live the rest of her life without her grandma because a coward wanted to take her life." She continued, "I can't never call my mom again and tell her I love her. I can't never call and tell her about my day, about how my daughter is doing. He can do that. He can still call his mom."
I just can't stomach the fact that I have to live the rest of my life without my mom. My daughter has to live the rest of her life without her grandma because a coward wanted to take her life. My mom did not deserve this at all. My mother was a family-oriented person. She was my motivator, my best friend. She was the glue to this family. She was my guidance, my everything. I just can't live without her, and I can't imagine just living life without my mom. I can't never call my mom again and tell her I love her. I can't never call and tell her about my day, about how my daughter is doing, how she's growing up. I can't do that no more. He can do that. He can still call his mom. He can still call and check on her. They can all call and check and see how he's doing in jail. We can't get my mom back, ever. My daughter has to grow up without a grandma. She won't see her start kindergarten. She won't see her turn 5, grow up, be a teenager. She won't see any of that. I must be 30 years old, but I won't even be here to see that milestone. She won't be able to see my brother graduate college or anything like that. I can't believe she's not here no more.
Amanda's son, Tristan. The young man she had posted about with such obvious pride, the Air Force Academy cadet she had cheered for publicly, submitted a written statement read by a family attorney. He could not be there in person. He wrote, "I learned a million things from her, even if it was not an intentional lesson. She showed me what a sophisticated woman looked like in this world. As I grow older and continue further in my life, I realize my life will never be the same." He had helped him decide to attend the Air Force Academy. She was not going to be there when he graduated in 2025. Amanda's brother Joey Lewis addressed Edwards directly. "He's a wolf in sheep's clothing. I'm glad I met him so I can protect my daughter from people like him." Pastor R.A. Vernon, who spoke publicly in the weeks after Amanda's death and again at sentencing, said the evidence had revealed something the community had not fully seen while it was happening: a clear pattern of abuse and manipulation. There is a pattern that investigators and advocates who study domestic violence recognize, and it appears in this case with a kind of grim clarity. An argument that escalated not from a single incident, but from a sequence of smaller power struggles, a text message, a phone plan, access and control, that had likely been building for some time. A victim who had publicly posted months before her death that she was done giving people more chances than they deserved. A woman who, by witness account, told the man in her home to leave multiple times on the night she was killed. A perpetrator who had, earlier that same day, moved weapons around the shared space and then returned to it. Who had 3 videos on his phone from the argument. Who had chosen, in the moments after the shooting, not to call an ambulance, but also not to allow anyone else to try to help. The 8th District Court of Appeals unanimously affirmed Edwards' conviction and sentence. Cuyahoga County Prosecutor O'Malley, commenting on that appellate decision, stated, "Tirrell Edwards purposefully murdered Amanda Williams and tried to utilize a fake self-defense claim to cover up his actions." The self-defense claim, recorded by his own phone, challenged by his own inconsistencies, contradicted by a wound in the back, did not survive a 4-day trial. But the warning signs were present long before a jury saw them. Amanda Williams was a mother, a grandmother, a business owner, and a stylist who encouraged her team to think bigger. She had plans. She had a son at the Air Force Academy. She had a granddaughter who will grow up with a photograph instead of a grandmother. She posted publicly about her life. She talked openly about her values, her energy, her goals. She shared the kind of quote that says, without saying it, that she was trying to find her way toward something better. If warning signs were visible here, in the arguments, the control, the escalating dynamics that her own pastor described as a clear pattern, how many are we ignoring right now? Thanks for watching Guilty Crime Files. These were cases of people just like you, and that's why it matters. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, because the right knowledge could save a life. Stay alert, and I'll see you in the next file.
That during this case being duly impaneled and sworn, do find the defendant, Tirrell Edwards, guilty of murder.
Almost 5 months after a popular Cleveland hairstylist was found shot to death in her Warrensville Heights home, her fiancé is found guilty of the crime. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Bryn Caswell. The October death of 46-year-old Amanda Williams left her family and community heartbroken without closure. But today, a jury found Tirrell Edwards responsible. News 5's Remy Murray has been following the case from the very beginning, speaking with Amanda's family and community along the way. Tonight, she reports on the verdict.
After nearly 5 months since the murder of Amanda Williams, family and friends like Pastor R.A. Vernon say they feel a sense of relief after hearing Monday's verdict.
Justice did prevail in my opinion today, and for that I'm grateful.
Like I said, found guilty, he doing life, and that's that.
Walking out of the courtroom Monday afternoon, family and friends are seen hugging each other after the jury found Amanda Williams' fiancé, Tirrell Edwards, guilty on 5 out of the 6 counts, 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of felonious assault and domestic violence. He was found not guilty of aggravated murder. Although Vernon calls this a victory, he says Williams' presence is still missed by all.
Nothing's going to bring Amanda back. Nothing fixes that.
I first started reporting on the death of Amanda Williams last October. Her friends told me they were devastated when Warrensville Heights police found the 46-year-old shot and killed following a domestic violence disturbance.
Just the little things that I'm gonna miss. So much love.
Police detained Edwards for questioning, and 2 days later, they released him when the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office found insufficient evidence to charge him with a crime. The prosecutor's office also stated Edwards planned to claim self-defense in the shooting. That's when family, friends, and supporters of Williams band together to speak out.
I just want justice for my mom. Something has to happen. We don't feel safe.
A little more than a week later, Edwards turned himself into police on Friday, November 2nd. Vernon tells me he believes their rally played a significant part.
Made people take us serious, including Prosecutor O'Malley, that the weight of that ministry could have made some real noise if justice wasn't served.
Edwards did take the stand this past Friday, telling the jury Williams lunged at him with a knife. Still, this wasn't enough for the jury to side with his self-defense claim.
I would like for women to learn from this that domestic violence is real, and one time is enough, and you can lose your life by staying too long.
At this time, we don't have a confirmed date for Edwards' sentencing, but when it is, News 5 will have the latest on air and online. In Cleveland, Remy Murray, News 5.